Hello and welcome to the Q Today show for June the 8th to the 12th. I'm Allison Duddy, one of your hosts for this program.
And I'm your other host for this program, Mitch Vick.
Good to have you back, Mitch.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. You had a good time?
Oh, it was very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I was getting a little crispy. Needed a little vacation. So
the weather was better than we've had,
Actually, I heard the weather wasn't so bad here, but it was 31 degrees where I was every day.
Well, that's much better than we
nice.
had. We definitely had our fair share of rain while you were gone.
Good stuff. Okay.
Anyways, coming up after the news, we've got Nate in conversation with Matt Wood and Tanya Turner from the City of Quesnel. They're going to be discussing the Our Quesnel, the city's new sustainability project. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up a little bit later.
Before we get into the news, we'd just like to thank you for watching and remind you our weekday show runs from Tuesday 5 p.m. Friday at 8 a.m. and the weekend offering airs from Friday at 5 p.m. to Tuesday at 8 a.m. And we broadcast daily at 8 a.m., 5 p.m. and 10 p.m.
All right, and if you have any comments on the program, you can reach us by email at qtoday@qcatv.ca. If you'd like some information on how to sponsor us, you can give Nate a call at 250-992-3650. And as always, of course, we'd like to thank the Caribou Observer for letting us use some of their news stories in our broadcast. We do just give the highlights, though, of those stories, so if you want to read all the details, you can pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer. Now we're going to go over to Mitch for some news.
So our first story, Allison, is pertaining to a recent shooting in our city. One 26-year-old male is in custody and another 27-year-old male is sought by police after a June 2nd shooting left a residence on Hartley Street with bullet holes in the siding and windows. The 27-year-old is named Raymond Como, and he is wanted by police. He is described as 5'10", 170 pounds. He is considered armed and dangerous, and the Quesnel RCMP urged the public to call 911 if you spot him. A search warrant was issued relating to the shooting and was executed in Red Bluff and yielded amounts of cocaine, heroin, and 2 prohibited weapons. It should be noted that the people who are responsible for the shooting were known by the occupants on Hartley Street, so this is not a random event. If anyone has information on this case, they should call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, or they can call the RCMP at 992-9211. So
right.
A little bit concerning there.
Scary.
But I think they can get their man in this case. If all the citizens see something peculiar on this story, please call Crime Stoppers and let's bring this guy to justice for sure.
You bet. Thanks, Mitch. So next up, I've actually got a few stories, news releases from the City of Quesnel. First of all, due to heavy precipitation in the Upper Fraser watershed, a flood watch has been issued by the BC River Forecast Centre for rivers in northeastern BC, including the Fraser River. We've actually got City of Quesnel's Communications Supervisor Matt Wood discussing this present situation. Here's Matt. Now, the news release also did say that the city may need to replace safety barriers along portions of the riverfront trail or roadways, and the public is asked to respect those barriers. Thanks for that update, Matt. Also in city news, council has named a new city manager, but he's not really a new city manager, he's kind of our old city manager. Byron Johnson, who was Quesnel's city manager for almost 2 years during 2009 and 10, is going to be returning to the post effective August the 1st. Mayor Sjostrom commented that he was a pleasure to work with during his first tenure with the city, and she looks forward to welcoming him back. Johnson returns to Quesnel after a stint as the Chief Administrative Officer with Sun Peaks Mountain Resort Municipality. And prior to that, he was the City of Quesnel's Director of Finance and Administration from November 2004 to December 2008, before he was named City Manager in January 2009. So we've also got one more news release from the city. The first draft of the City of Quesnel's 2011 annual report is now available for public inspection and comment. The report may be viewed online at www.quesnel.ca and click on the link to the report on the right-hand side of the page. It's also available in hard copy at City Hall, which is 410 Kinchant Street. Now, the annual report is required under the community charter and includes the 2011 financial statements, a report on the city's activities in 2011, and a series of strategic objectives for 2012. It must be presented to the public 2 weeks prior to being formally adopted by City Council, and comments may be directed to Matt Wood, who is the communications supervisor, at mwood@quesnel.ca. The annual report will be formally presented to Council for final approval on June 25th at 7 p.m. in Council chambers. So that's it for City News.
Thank you. Excellent. Basically, our next story here is about, it's called a normal course issuer bid. And what this is talking about is West Fraser has opened up a new bid for 1 million common shares, or 2.5% of all shares. What is a course issuer bid, you might ask? Well, basically it is a stock repurchase plan initiated by a company who wants to buy back some of their own shares. So why would a company want to do this? Well, buying back shares allows a company to increase the value of their existing shares that may remain after their buyback. So in this case, West Fraser would like to buy back 2.5% of their shares, and they have to get special permission to do this through the TSX. And West Fraser has renewed the bid until May 31st, 2013, and has been given approval. In the past 12 months, West Fraser has not purchased back any of its common stock. So just a little interesting thing. Some people are not sure what some of these terms mean. I know I wasn't completely clear on the process. So
when I read the article, I was a little unclear myself. So thanks for putting that into perspective. That makes sense.
From my understanding, when a company does buy back their shares, it has to be approved through their board and through the governing body at the TSX. And basically, by taking some of their shares off the market, they enhance the value of the existing shares that are left over.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Mitch.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Well, Annie Gallant wrote a story on a, quote, wildly entertaining evening coming up on June the 15th. Unseemly Evenings is hosting a caravan cabaret, a night of whimsical delights, using the entire Gold Pan City Dance Center with unorthodox entrances, unexpected experiences, and a lavish stage show. Owner of Gold Pan City Dance, Jesse Herman, created the gypsy-themed caravan cabaret out of a craving for more performance art in Quesnel. One of the bands that she's lined up for the show is the Tequila Mockingbird Orchestra. They're a 5-piece band from Victoria that offers the sound and atmosphere that Herman was looking for. As an added treat, Bottoms Up, Barely Burlesque, a local dance troupe with lots of sass, will be performing for 2 of Tequila Mockingbird Orchestra's numbers. Herman has also secured the Tim Sars Trio as the opening act, saying they're an eclectic, animated gypsy jazz group. Joel Kolenchuk and Jenny Phillips bring their vile pole arts to the stage. Roaming actors lend even more authenticity to the gypsy theme, and polishing off the stage show is an exotic pet display. So that is going to be June the 15th. Doors open at 7 p.m. You must be 19 or older to attend. Tickets are $30 up until June the 10th, are available at Gold Pan City Dance and Bo Peep Boutique. After June the 10th, it's going to cost you $35. So if you need any more information, you can call 250-255-1171. Sounds interesting.
That does, just as I heard you discussing that. That's a lot of a good combination of events there.
It sounds like it's going to be really interesting. I'm thinking about maybe going and taking that in. The exotic pet display kind of at the end kind of got me. And then they're going to have a DJ once the actual stage show is done. They're going to have a DJ playing music till later on. So
that sounds like quite a show.
It does.
It's great. Our next story, Annie Gallant has written a heartfelt goodbye for two of Quesnel's wonderful citizens. I've had the pleasure of volunteering with these 2 citizens with the Lions, but they are better known for their tireless work and dedication as captains with the Salvation Army. Of course, these 2 are Jimmy and Deb Vanderhayden, and they're heading for a new posting with the Salvation Army in Fort St. John. They have a new challenge and a new adventure on their horizon, as the Salvation Army has just purchased a motel with community support, and it will be converted into a homeless shelter and transition house in Fort St. John. In the 5 years that Deb and Jimmy have spent in Quesnel, they have revitalized the Salvation Army locally by expanding the physical size of their infrastructure in Quesnel, namely their second-hand store, and of course expanding the Salvation Army programs and services in Quesnel. We're talking with Deb, and she has a very special place in her heart for a program they call Tiny Bites, where they prepare lunches and snacks for children in need, and they deliver them right out of their back of their van. That's very close to Deb's heart, so she stated she'll be continuing with that program in her new home in Fort St. John. We here at Q Today wish the best to Deb and Jimmy in their new home in Fort St. John, and best of luck, and we'll definitely miss them. Great people, great contributors to our community.
You bet. Thanks for that, Mitch.
Thanks.
And I understand we have a new husband and wife team that will be heading up the charge after Jim and Deb are gone.
I'm not sure on the date of their arrival, but we'll definitely have a special announcement welcoming the new team, and keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole community is going to miss Jim and Deb. I mean, I know probably everybody in it knows them somehow, some way. So that is definitely a loss. Yeah. A loss for us, but good luck to them for sure. All right, moving along, Seniors Advocacy Services is putting on a Seniors Info Day on June the 15th at the Legion, offering free workshops in some of the most requested areas of seniors services and programs. We've got Susan McNeil here from Seniors Advocacy Services to explain.
I'm Susan McNeil, and I work with the Seniors Advocacy Service here in Quesnel. Our office is on 353 Reed Street, and we're in the Century 21 building. If you just come in the main entrance there and walk about halfway down, we're on the left-hand side. Our office, along with the Legion this year, is going to do a Seniors Information Day. It will be on June 15th at the Legion. It's an all-day workshop with 6 different workshops that you can register for. So we're going to be doing them for about an hour each. We will have a lunch break, and if you'd like to register, which we would prefer pre-registration, please call us at 250-992-1567 or 250-747-8363. Now, the Legion has donated the venue for this event, and we are very happy to also partner with the Caribou Observer. And if you wish further information, give either of those numbers a call. We will have a very busy day ahead of us. We are trying to condense a lot of information into these 6 workshops, and we look forward to you coming. Now, you don't have to come to all the workshops. If you wish to just come to 1 or 2, have a look at what the venue looks like for the day and register for the workshop that you'd prefer to be at. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
All right, so some of the workshops that Susan didn't mention in her article, I'm going to go through them with you. The day begins at 9 a.m. with a workshop on wills, representation agreements, and power of attorney. At 10 a.m., Pat Morton will deliver a workshop on taxes, followed at 11 a.m. with information from Service BC. After lunch, which Susan mentioned is being offered at a small fee, workshops will begin again at 1 p.m. with Carol Morrison from Prince George speaking about Canada pension benefits, followed at 2 p.m. by Alzheimer's Awareness presented by Leanne Jones from the Alzheimer's Society of Prince George. Now, the final workshop is at 3 p.m. and deals with medication awareness. They're also going to have many community providers with resource tables providing information on a variety of topics at the Seniors Info Day. And as Susan did say, you can take in one or all of the workshops or a couple, but pre-registering is definitely recommended as seats are starting to fill up there. So also something else that the Seniors Advocacy Services is working on, they're working on getting a computer program that is similar to the Drive Able program. Now, the Drive Able program requires people of any age, but most applicable to seniors, to pass a computer exam to maintain their driver's license. So SAS is actually looking into installing a practice program at their office where people can get a feel for the touchscreen style exam that they could be facing. Susan McNeil in the Observer article stated that the exam process can often be extremely stressful for people, and having this program would offer the chance to practice, which could make a huge difference in a person's success or failure. Susan McNeil will be on hand at the Seniors Info Day, which is again on June 15th at the Legion. And it starts at 9 a.m. To reserve your spot, I'm going to give those two phone numbers again, either 250-992-1567 or 250-747-8363 to register for any of those great workshops that they're going to be having.
That's great.
Thanks.
Especially with, like you mentioned, the software. Because definitely I've heard a lot of feedback from seniors who are very intimidated by not only the technology of the computer, but the images coming on the screen. It's a touch screen. It's just not familiar to a lot of seniors who don't have a lot of comfort level with computers. So.
That's right. And I think Susan hit the nail on the head. You know, if you have that ability just to go and see and practice even once, you've got an idea of what you're going into. And that in itself is going to, you know, sort of tame the fears and the not knowing to what to expect, and be able to go into the actual test, you know, with perhaps a calmer, less stressed out brain.
Absolutely.
So, good stuff.
Yeah. So moving into sports, our own Denny's striker soccer teams were quite successful at a recent tournament. Fully 3/4 of our squads were successful and are advancing to their Provincial B Cup matches. The U16 boys definitely dominated, and their squads were successful and are advancing to the Provincial B Cup. They had no yellow cards, which is great, no penalties against them. They were very dominant in their wins, winning 10-1 and 8-0. It almost sounds like football scores, so fantastic work, and their goalie apparently stood on his head, so well done as well. The U16 girls went 2-0, and they beat their opponent, 100 Mile House, quite handedly. The U14 girls played 2 games, and they went to play draws against their PG opponents, but they're still advancing. The U14 boys did struggle a little. They had 2 losses against their Prince George opponents, losing 3-1, very close game. And unfortunately, a bit of a blowout in the second game. They lost 7-1. The advancing teams will be playing in Kelowna. The girls will be playing in Kelowna. And the U16 boys will be heading to Aldergrove for their provincial finals. So great results from our young soccer players.
You bet. Thanks for that, Mitch.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to some senior lacrosse with the local Crossfire team taking on the Shooters Pub Devils recently. The first 10 minutes looked great and saw Quesnel go up too quickly as a result of the control the Crossfire had on the game. Fans were hopeful Quesnel would see its first victory in the PGSLA. But halfway through the first, unfortunately, things started falling apart and the Crossfire were just not able to put it back together. Coach and captain Pat Gibbs said the Devils made a few adjustments, started using the fast break, and really took it to us. Unfortunately, so they were down 7-3 starting the second period. The Crossfire really needed their scorers to come out strong and show themselves on the scoreboard, but unfortunately that never materialized and the Devils continued to score twice for every point that our Crossfire could manage. Despite the growing number in the losses column, Gibbs is keeping positive as he sees his team getting better throughout the season. Now they just have to translate that progress into numbers in the win category instead of numbers in the loss. But I do know someone who plays on the team, and he said that, you know, they really have come a long ways from the beginning, and it's a brand new team, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can cut them some slack. That's fine.
That's right.
They're growing. They're finding their feet. Next
sure.
year sounds like they'll be a little more competitive.
Somebody to contend
dominant.
with. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I know they've got some players on the team, you know, that are still learning the game, you know. So that once they get a season under their belt, get some competition, I think it's going to be awesome for them.
So looking forward to that for
You
sure.
bet.
As Allison mentioned earlier, Nate recently had the opportunity to sit down with Matt Wood and Tanya Turner from the city of Quesnel. Let's take a look at Nate.
Okay, thanks very much. And I'm here with City Planner Tanya Turner. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Nate.
And Matt Wood, Communications Guru.
Hi, Nate.
How are you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Excellent. Everything fine at the city?
Everything's good.
That's
Full steam ahead.
Good. We're really happy about that. We've got a few stories on the show today about Byron Johnson coming back, and that's an interesting story. And I think you've got a report coming out, the annual report coming out. But we're here to talk a little bit about our Quesnel. you know, that's the, you've been on before to introduce the idea. And I'd like to do, first of all, let's get a little bit of a background on what we talked about last time to bring everybody up to date, and then we'll go get some exciting new results, I think, in the last little while. Matt.
Yeah, the Art Quesnel process so far has been fantastic. We've had great buy-in from the public, and basically it's a process to help us start acting more sustainably in a number of areas around the community.
Excellent. And where we are right now is we've just finished a visioning process, or we're just in the final stages of finishing our visioning process. And we are looking forward to continuing the excellent public support that we've had so far.
So you had that event at the North Caribou Community Campus, and quite a few people came out. We reported on it, 60 people at any one time. And so I was there for part of it. Seems like everybody was engaged and had a good time.
Yeah, a lot of really good ideas, good suggestions, and just in general, really good conversations going on about things that we might not typically talk about every day.
That's kind of nice to think about the long-range viability of our community, eh? And that's the word sustainability. Sustainability, I think we've talked about as it's a buzzword, but what does sustainability mean again?
Sustainability is, there's various descriptions of sustainability. What we're taking on is sustainability is a shared direction for the future that is going to utilize the resources that we have without compromising resources for our future generations.
Right, and it's kind of a serious topic in a way, and one of the things that I worry about sometimes is that it's just the flavor of the day. But you guys don't know this, but I just had my first grandchild yesterday, and I worry a little bit about this little Sienna Bello. Little Sienna in Taiwan. She's in Taiwan now, and the future that she's going to have to deal with. So this is a serious topic for our city, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think we can consider sustainability to be simply a buzzword. It's not responsible of us. We continue to see issues with infrastructure across the country. We're seeing world financial markets having difficulty, environmental impacts everywhere. If we're treating it as a buzzword and flavor of the day, as you say, then we're really not giving it due process.
Okay, so back to where we're at in our process. We had the event. You brought in things. People came on your website, gave information that way also, and so the committee got together again. And what happened?
The committee got together with all of the information.
The sustainability committee
Yes,
that you have.
yes,
Okay.
the Sustainability Task Force got together with all of the information that was pulled together, and we developed some what we called elements that we wanted to make sure that were presented forward, which the community gave us, and then we put together what's called desired outcome statements.
Okay.
And these desired outcome statements are going to be the statements that will lead our vision.
Okay, let's get into some of those. What are some of the desired what were the different areas, first of all?
There were 10 strategy areas, Nate, where we developed desired outcome statements, and there are anywhere from 4 to 8
Outcome statements
desired outcome statements for each strategy area. The strategy areas, and there are 10, so I'm just going to read them off, are economy, work, education, and skills training, that's 1. Transportation and mobility, 2. Energy, water, resources, and waste, 3. Food, 4. Social and community well-being, 5. Ecosystems, natural areas and parks, 6. Communications and connectivity, 7. Building and sites, 8. Arts, culture, recreation, and leisure, 9. And housing and land use, 10. There's no priority with those strategy areas, but they're just 10 areas we felt should be addressed.
So basically, they're aspects of our life here in Quesnel.
Pretty broad spectrum.
Okay, so let's just, I know we can't go through all these DOS desired outcome
Statements.
statements, okay, right here, right now. But can we just get an example? So let's pick the economy. Do you have one that you remember or something like that that would be an example of one?
Yeah, one of them was, to paraphrase, Quesnel's diverse and resilient economy. It's based on the strength of the area's natural resources and is supportive of emerging economic sectors as well.
Okay, so these are, I could see that, desired outcome, what we want to see in the future.
Yeah, these are, you've often heard the phrase, motherhood and apple pie, right? These are these types of statements. It's very broad, high level, and very worthy of goals that we want to achieve.
Okay.
So now we do the process of backcasting, where we figure out how do we get there? What's the best way of getting there?
Okay, so that's probably our next stage now. So you're now going to the community or something to look at these, or?
Yeah, so we're going to put all the desired outcome statements on the website, www.rquenel.com. And we're going to also have a survey on there where people can review all these statements and let us know, are we on the right track, or did we miss something? Do you have any other ideas? And do you have any ideas about how we can get there? So moving on to that next phase of the action steps.
Okay, well, it sounds very interesting. I'm really glad that we have those goals now, and then we've got sort of like, it's just a little more focused, and as you said, now we do the backcasting to see the incremental ways of getting there. Okay, so what do you say to people that are saying, well, okay, this is all fine and dandy. Council is just leading us on a little bit of diversion here, because who's fixing the roads, who's doing it? That's what I care about. Blah blah.
Yeah.
Who's driving? Is this just an elitist kind of a thing? So what do you say about that?
Who's driving this? Whoever wants to drive it. Hop on board. This is the beauty of this process, and this is how we designed it, was that there's multiple levels of engagement throughout the process. You can be just informed, and that's great. Or you can be really educated and really involved and actually in the decision-making process, and that's great too. There's no wrong level of engagement in this, and there's no right level of engagement. The only right level is the engagement that people are comfortable doing. So the drivers, while yes, the city's leading it, we're really trying to think of ourselves more as facilitators for the community. We're doing it on behalf of the community, and groups that want to get on board and be involved and be stakeholders in this, we're welcoming that.
And getting back to what you want to say there, I just want to add one point in there. That's because that is a common statement. Why don't you just fix the roads? But how do we fix the roads? How do we fix the roads for the next 20, 30, 40 years when they're still going to be there? How are we going to fix them in a way that is going to be more supportive of the community that we want to be at that time? And I think that's the way we need to start thinking. We're not just replacing what we have. Maybe we're replacing it in a better, more sustainable way.
Okay. So this process of getting some feedback will take place over the summer or right into the fall, and then what will happen then after you get the feedback?
Well, this phase for the feedback for the desired outcome statements will go until June 22nd. So we've got just a couple of weeks here, collect some people's thoughts and ideas. Then we're going to compile all that information. We're also going to develop a series of statements about current realities, so where we are in relation to those desired outcome statements. We'll also develop some indicators to let us know how we can measure our progress and see how we're coming along. And then finally, that will all get compiled into a report, which again will be another phase of public input later on in the fall. Okay.
Any last comments, Tanya?
No, and again, we just really appreciate all of the input that we've had from the community and the continued support. If you haven't checked out our Facebook page yet, we're quite happy to announce that we have 162 followers on our Facebook page, and the input and the likes and just knowing that the community is checking in on this process is very rewarding.
Well, I like it. I hope you like Q today too.
Definitely.
Okay, good. Like and share. Just
like
remember.
And share.
Matt, final comments.
Nothing to add other than, the community's been outstanding so far, and I really thank them for it. The public input and public engagement is tricky. It's difficult. Everybody's busy. There's a lot going on in people's lives. So for people to take time out to talk about things that are 30, 40 years in the future is really valuable to us.
Well, thank you very much for being with us again, with me again, and we'll see you the next time. Okay? Keep
bet.
us in the loop.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks Matt and Tanya and Nate for that. Now here's our correspondent Charlene Van Conant with a special announcement on an upcoming event.
Welcome to Let's Talk FASD. Today I have a few things I want to talk about. One is introducing a family retreat FASD camp out at Fish Lake. We're asking for families who have children from the ages of 10 to 14 to call me at the Native Friendship Center at 992-8347 and register to be part of educational camp out where there will be workshops, and the facilitators for that will be myself and Bev Zorn from Prince George. So the retreat runs from July 6th to 7th and then the morning of the 8th. So we're hoping to have at least 6 families participate in this. And not only does it give you some extra knowledge about FASD, you also will build friendships and supports that most families don't have who are dealing with raising children with FASD. So that's one of the things that we have going on. The other one is the 4th annual FASD bike ride. That is going to be on July 8th as well. It will be starting at Labordy Park, so I'm hoping the riders will meet and greet there. And then we're going to ride to Macleese Lake and back, and then again head to the Native Friendship Center where there will be a barbecue, door prizes, and some fun, and yeah, enjoy the afternoon. Hopefully it's a sunny afternoon. So if you ride a motorbike, please do show up. There's free bandanas for the first 50 riders who do show, and let's make it a good afternoon. Along with that, I was talking to a young lady today in my office, and she come in. I was telling her a little bit about the family retreat that we're having for the families, and she made a comment which I hear quite often is, gosh, you know, why can't women just not drink when they're pregnant? And it's not about that. So we created a group, and this is part of prevention around FASD, and it is the Women's in Recovery group. Now the women don't need to be pregnant, or they don't need necessarily have to have a child living with them or whatever, but it is a recovery group, a supportive group, one where women can come and feel safe to share and to express any kind of concerns and get the supports they need to stay healthy. And with that, the women have created a t-shirt, a hoodie that's called Dancing with the Shadows, or Dancing with Shadows. And that is, if you're in recovery and you know anything about recovery, you always have that shadow life, and you've been in that life, and you're always dancing with it and making sure that it stays in the shadows and doesn't resurface into your healthy life that you're in now. So, and that group is for anybody. So, you know, if there's women out there who are struggling and wanting to be in a safe environment and around other women who understand what it's like to be always dancing with that shadow, then sure, give me a call and hopefully join that group. And that's part of prevention work around supporting women in any type of addictions or recovery. So that's what I have today with FASD, and thank you for being here, and until next time.
Thanks, Charlene. Now it's time for the photo of the day. We've actually got a couple of more pictures from the Antique Machinery Park that Dave Sutton took for us last weekend. Remember, they're having their family fun day there on June the 23rd, which is going to include sawmill and blacksmith demonstrations, a silent auction, thousands of artifacts to check out at the Antique Machinery Park, and there will be food available also. So thanks to Dave for sending those in to us.
And next up, it's time to take a look at our community calendar and see what's going on locally.
All right, just before we leave, we just want to set the record straight on something that we reported last show. In a letter to the Observer, Kathy Briggs, who is one of the co-chairs for the Relay for Life, announced the total collected for Relay for Life was over $140,000, not the $240,000 total that we obtained from other sources and reported on our last show. So that is it for this show. If you'd like to give us any feedback or any tips that you think we should be covering here on Q Today, certainly contact us by email at qtoday@qcatv.ca. And if you'd like to be a sponsor or volunteer, you can get a hold of Nate at 250-992-3650 or give John McKenzie at Shaw a call at 992-8363.
And don't forget, you can also find us on Facebook. So you can either watch our show or on Facebook or on qcatv.ca. And thanks to Eddie D'Souza for his help with that. So just again, Facebook at facebook.com/Q Today. And that's got a big Q and a big T, and it's all one word.
All right, Q Today is produced by QMag, the Quesnel Media Access Group. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Remember, our purpose here at Q Today is to get Quesnel talking. Bye for now. That was actually